Hello. I am Cassie Brown, and I am thrilled to welcome you to the Amplify My Impact podcast. After years of consulting and managing programs for some of the top entrepreneurs, CEOs, and marketers in the industry, I am on a mission to expand our contribution, to grow, scale, and create more so we can do and give more. This podcast celebrates entrepreneurs who are boldly stepping up to own their calling, expand their influence, and stretch outside their comfort zone, who've decided to stop playing it small, pick up the mantle of contribution, and serve at a higher level, to lead by example and light the way for others. If that's you, then get ready to amplify. There's a fire that burns inside your soul, and we're going to ignite it into a roaring blaze of unstoppable momentum. Hello, Cassie Brown here with another episode for Amplify My Impact. I'm really excited to come to you today with this episode, and honestly, I am excited every day, and I feel like this is a repeat on a lot of the introductions that we do with the podcast, and I wanted to kind of take a quick little detour that will eventually make sense with the subject that we're covering today on the podcast, but I want to spend a little bit of time here and explain why I'm always excited. I have learned to be filled with gratitude in every situation that I have in life and business, family, marriage, kids. Everything is an opportunity to choose how we are going to react to our situation and circumstances. And it's just one of those things where through experiences in life, I know there's a ton of pain, there's struggle, but there's also a silver lining if you look for it. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to find that silver lining, and that lies in problems. We're going to be problem solvers. We're going to fall in love with the problem that we solve in our business. So that's what we're covering today, and I'm really excited to dive in. So let's go. All right. So hopefully that helped lay the foundation for where you're going. But before we get there, you may be stressed. You may be sort of feeling the pressures of life in general and what's going on in the world today. So I would invite you to just sort of take a deep breath. Let's focus in and get to the heart and soul of what you really do in your business. And trust me, it goes a lot deeper than just providing X, Y, and Z for a certain client or selling sunglasses if you're in e-com. Dig deeper. What problem do you solve in the market for your customer? Because your customer is a human with a family. Maybe they have kids, maybe they just have a plant or a dog, but they have worries and doubts and fears just like you and I do. And our products and services bridge the gap, give them some peace, and help them find a solution to their problem. And that, my friend, is an incredible calling to answer, and it's super important. But there's a lot of people who get stuck with sort of shiny objects on the reversed side. As course creators, we can try to be too much to everyone. But if we focus and dial in on the biggest problem that we can solve, the biggest relief that we can provide for somebody, the biggest aha breakthroughs that make their business or life easier, that is our zone of genius, and that is the lane we need to stick in. So what is it for you? When I ask that question, what problem do you solve? Can you answer it? Can you answer it in a way where you don't hesitate and that totally makes sense to a third grader? And if you can answer yes to those questions, will it wake you up in the middle of the night with a passion and just a purpose to solve that problem no matter what? That is the balance that we're looking for. Falling in love with the problem will ensure that we don't get burnt out, that we don't just become part of a status quo, that we don't just start going through the motions and checking things off, that we keep that fire and that passion, not only in service, but in innovation. Because when we fall in love with the problem that we solve, we're constantly looking on ways to improve it, to make better delivery, to make sure that our customers, clients, or our partners, they take easier action steps, they get better results, that they complete our course or our program, or that they actually unwrap the product that you sold them. That is what will set you apart and differentiate you from every other business out there, because you're not only in love with the problem, you want to make sure that solution is available and out there for more and more and more people. That is how we amplify our impact. And that is how we make sure that we're not just settling or just skirting by or riding a wave of complacency. So falling in love with the problem, that's one way to continue to ensure innovation, but it's also another way to avoid complete burnout, because it will get hard. There will be things that stress us out. There will be those roadblocks that have us questioning, is this even worth it? And if you're asking yourself, is it worth it? And you can't dial it back and say, yes, I would leap forward out of bed at night to serve this client with this problem if I wasn't paid anything. Because remember, we're in our zone of genius. So it's coming easy to us, but it's not the money that motivates us. It's the results and the solution that we're providing to the problem. And when results come, so does income, so does the revenue, and so does relationships. Falling in love with the problem keeps us engaged, motivated for innovation, and also committed to the outcome, to see it through for the long run. We're not just a flash in the pan, quick, fly by night operation. We are building businesses and teams and legacies. That's what it means to fall in love with the problem. Because we're sticking around for a while. We're going to be the last man standing, the last woman standing. Falling in love with the problem also helps people know exactly what you do and who you are there to serve. I love the clients that we work with, because when you talk about amplifying their impact, they're rooted in what they do today affects people tomorrow. And it not only affects the people that they serve with the creation of their product or service, but they're also affecting someone on a bigger scale of things with the way that they can give back and contribute. So our clients, by default, have fallen in love with the problem that they solve. We have some who help people overcome diabetes and get off their medications. We have others that are so ingrained with making sure that small businesses have the support and financial decisions through tax and accounting. So this gets as granular as your business is. We with Amplify, we have fallen in love with solving the problem where people get stuck and they're their own obstacles in the way, because they are so gracious and giving and committed to service that they have their own internal roadblocks on publishing and scaling and transitioning into team and paid traffic from organic. There's so many of those dominoes that need to fall, and we love standing in the gap for our clients to solve those problems. So what gap are you standing in? What fight are you willing to fight day in and day out that you will never get tired of, but you will constantly strive to make better and innovate every single step of the way? That's what makes beautiful business and systems and legacy. And that's the question I hope that you'll be able to answer by the time this podcast is over, or at least to think about over the next few days. Am I in love with the problem? And if it is just about for the money, how can you leverage your skill set to solve a problem that you are passionate about? That's a totally different business model than product or service that you're passionate about, where that's in alignment. Sometimes our skill sets are outside of what is right in front of us. Sometimes we can create a product or service to be the vehicle to fund another problem that we're passionate about solving. And that passion can be just as powerful if you apply the same principles to it. So it doesn't mean just because you have a passion project and no one's willing to pay for the solution that you can't get creative and figure out what's within your skill set to act as that vehicle, that accelerant, that process where you're going to be able to make the impact that you want to make. So to recap for you what we've covered today in falling in love with a problem, and I hope that you can answer this question, and I hope that if you're actively in business that you can say, yes, I am totally in love with solving the problem, because that is what's going to fuel you forward. That's what's going to ensure innovation through every season of change in business, environment, and climate, just like where we find ourselves in crisis mode today. It's going to push you forward and figure out, okay, if someone moved my cheese and I can't solve this problem the way that I used to or the way that I am used to, what innovation can I embrace right here and now, because I have to adapt and shift and move so that I can keep solving this problem and serving in this way. It helps you avoid burnout when the obstacles come, and they will come. If you are so passionate about the problem that you're solving, come hell or high water, fire and brimstone, you will walk through it and you will stand in the gap and you will serve no matter what to create the solution to this problem and stand out in the marketplace. It gives you the opportunity to play the long game, to endure, to lay the foundation for your legacy, to build off of every other growth opportunity in business, because you're going to see the battlefield. You're going to see the opportunities because you know better than anyone else in your market what the problem is that you solve, how best to solve it, and what the humans that you solve it for really need at their core. It's going to come across in your messaging and your advertising and your delivery and your community and your relationships. Out of every single business pore that you have in your body, you will eat, sleep, and breathe this. Your headline copy will be easier. Your communication will be easier because it is coming from a place of fire and intention. You won't hesitate. You won't let yourself be your own obstacle in the way anymore. It'll also solidify your position in the market because you'll be confident in what you can do and who you can serve and how you solve that problem. You'll get loud. People will know where to find you. You'll get clarity. You'll get results. And results will increase your revenues and sales over and over and over. It serves as the vehicle that will fund your legacy and paying it forward beyond here and now, beyond you, yourself, and your business. It'll be a catalyst for the impact that you want to make in the world because you're so passionate about the innovation and delivery and results. That's a framework that is scalable. And when you start scaling with businesses who care about impact, they are going to make an impact and contribute beyond their circle of influence. And they're going to plant seeds in others that's going to have a ripple effect. And that is what we're all about with Amplify My Impact, so that you can contribute and push beyond the ripple effect. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I'll talk to you again soon. Enjoy, be grateful. Thank you for hanging out with us. Take care. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. I hope you've received value, encouragement, and exactly what you need to help keep you in momentum to grow and impact the world around you. Big or small, we all make a difference. Thanks also for subscribing, downloading, and leaving a review. This helps us reach others who need this message in their life. If you know anyone who would benefit from this podcast, please share so you and I can help more people boldly step into purpose. It is my heart's mission to help and encourage others. my internal belief that a rising tide lifts all ships. So much of what we talk about on the podcast is leading with value and building relationships through service. So we've created a collection of resources for you to continue growing, whether you are just getting started or ready to scale your business. Visit amplifymyimpact.com for show notes, downloads, programs, and more information about how to directly work with our team to amplify your impact and change the world.